Have you ever seen someone so sure they were right, only to be proven spectacularly wrong just moments later? Well, today we re-diving into a story from the courtroom that's almost too good to be true. It's a classic tale of overconfidence, a clever opponent, and a lesson learned the hard way. Our story begins in a tense courtroom. A lawyer, let's call him Mr. Reynolds, is defending his client against a serious charge. The prosecution's case hinges on a single piece of evidence: a grainy surveillance video. The video allegedly shows Reynolds' client at the scene of the crime. The quality is poor, and the person's face is obscured, but the prosecution is building their entire argument around it. Reynolds, a veteran lawyer known for his theatrical style and unwavering self-assurance, sees an opportunity. He stands up, a smirk playing on his lips, and addresses the jury. "Ladies and gentlemen," he begins, his voice booming through the courtroom, "the prosecution wants you to believe this shadowy figure is my client. They have no other evidence, no witnesses, nothing but this blurry, ambiguous video. They are grasping at straws." He then turns to the opposing counsel and, with a dramatic flair, issues a challenge. "I am so confident that this video is meaningless, so certain that it proves nothing, that I will make a bold statement. I challenge the prosecution to play this video right now, for everyone to see. In fact, I insist on it."
Ow.
A murmur ripples through the courtroom. The judge looks on, intrigued. The prosecutor, a younger, more reserved lawyer named Ms. Chen, simply nods. This was exactly what she had been hoping for. Reynolds, in his arrogance, had just walked directly into her trap. He believed the video's poor quality was his greatest asset, but he had severely underestimated his opponent. The lights in the courtroom dim. The large screen flickers to life. As Reynolds predicted, the video is grainy. A figure is seen moving in the shadows. You can't make out any clear features. Reynolds leans back in his chair, a look of smug satisfaction on his face. He's already mentally composing his closing argument, picturing his victory. He thinks he's just exposed the weakness of the prosecution's case. But then Miss Chen stands up. "Your Honor," she says calmly, "I'd like to direct the court's attention not to the subject's face, but to what he's holding." She asks the technician to zoom in on the figure's hand. The image sharpens slightly. The figure is holding a newspaper. Reynolds scoffs. "A newspaper that proves nothing," he exclaims, loud enough for the jury to hear. He's still convinced this is a waste of time. Miss Chen smiles faintly. "If we could enhance the image just a little more," she requests. The technician works his magic. The masthead of the newspaper slowly comes into focus. It's a local paper. And then the headline becomes readable. It's a headline about a local sports team winning a championship. A championship that happened the day after the crime took place. A collective gasp echoes through the courtroom. The timeline is impossible. The video, which the prosecution claimed was from the night of the crime, clearly shows a newspaper from the following day. It couldn't be from the crime scene at the time the crime was committed. Reynolds' face drains of all color. The smug grin is gone, replaced by a look of utter shock and disbelief. He's been played. Ms. Chen didn't use the video to identify his client. She used it to expose a critical flaw in the evidence itself, but she waited for him to demand it be shown. His own arrogance had led him to discredit the prosecution's esky piece of evidence in the most dramatic way possible. What had happened? Turns out the timestamp on the surveillance footage was incorrect due to a system malfunction. The police, in their haste, had grabbed the wrong file. Ms. Chen discovered this discrepancy during her investigation. She could have brought it up herself, but that would have been a simple procedural point. Instead, she laid a trap, knowing Reynolds' personality. She knew his overconfidence would lead him to make a grand gesture, and she let him. By challenging her to play the tape, Reynolds had unknowingly become the star witness against the prosecution's own case. He didn't just point out a flaw, he did it with such dramatic flair that it completely destroyed the credibility of the investigation in the eyes of the jury. He thought he was showing off his brilliance, but he was actually doing Miss Chen's job for her, and far more effectively than she could have done it herself. The judge, seeing the incontrovertible proof on the screen, had no choice. With the prosecution's central piece of evidence completely invalidated, the case fell apart. The judge dismissed the charges against Reynolds' client. Reynolds sat in stunned silence. He had won the case, but not in the way he had imagined. His victory felt hollow. It was saved not by his own skill, but by his opponent's clever strategy and his own hubris. He had been so focused on his own performance, so sure of his own interpretation of the evidence, that he completely missed the bigger picture. This story is a powerful reminder that in any high-stakes situation, whether it's in a courtroom, a boardroom, or just in life, overconfidence can be your worst enemy. It can blind you to details, lead you to underestimate your opponents, and make you vulnerable to traps you don't even see. The quiet, diligent preparation of Ms. Chen won the day over the loud, theatrical blustering of Mr. Reynolds. It goes to show that true strength isn't about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being the most prepared, the most observant, and the most strategic. Sometimes the best move is to let your opponent defeat themselves. And for Mr. Reynolds, it was a humbling lesson he would never forget. He won the battle for his client, but in the war of wits, he was thoroughly outplayed. What do you guys think? Have you ever seen a moment of overconfidence backfire so spectacularly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I love reading your stories. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content just like this. See you in the next one.